It's nice to see all of you, and it's especially nice to see some bright, shiny students in here, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, so thank you for being here today, and for everybody, thank you for being here. I'm Andrea Cecino, Associate Vice Chancellor of Community Outreach for USCB. Allow me to introduce our Chancellor, Al Panu. Before I do, how many of you know that USCB is celebrating its 20th anniversary? 20th anniversary is a four-year baccalaureate. We're babies. Truly, we are babies. When you look at other institutions that are a century or more old, we are babies. We are growing. We are developing. So as we have been doing these panel discussions, we did first the history of USCB, how it even came to be, which truly is a miracle, based on the leadership of who came together for this region and state. And then we took a look at the waterways and ecology of this region, and now we take a look at education. And we are looking at it through the lens of USCB's role and relevance as to these specific topics. They are not sugar-coated topics. They are meaty discussions, and we hope that you will participate. As we go into our 20th year, we're reminded of the leadership that we have had with First Chancellor Jane Upshaw, and then Al Panu, who is in his 9.5, 4 weeks and 3 days and 12 hours, but who is counting. This institution does not happen without strong leadership. And with that, I turn it over to Dr. Al Panu.
I am going to be super brief. I'm here to just say thank you, and I am so delighted to see all of you. And welcome to the third in our series of conversations that is happening all throughout this entire year when we're celebrating the 20th anniversary of USCB becoming a four-year degree granting institution. And as Andrea stated, we are young, but we're also very excited to have grown at the kind of pace that would not make you think we are as young as we really are. So we really appreciate that. And I just want to use this opportunity to thank all of you, because part of the success for USCB has been the community in which we are serving. And we are so appreciative of that. And I just want to give a welcome and also use this as an opportunity to invite you to thank the committee that has been putting these series of events together. Andrea is chairing that committee, but boy, it's something that they have really taken to heart, and we are so excited about everything that has not only already taken place, continuing to, but we'll have a couple of sessions in the future for which we would need your assistance and participation. And also just want to use this as an opportunity ahead of time to thank our panelists for today. So welcome, thank you. With that, we pass the baton to the real organizer for today, Dr. Dudas.
Thank you so much. Good morning. I want to echo everyone's thoughts and thank you for being here today. This is really a wonderful opportunity to talk about education in the Low-Country region. We're celebrating that 20th anniversary and really looking at how our mission as a university contributes to education in this environment here. In the early days, as you know, the university was just a dream. And in 20 years, we've come a really long way, and we're really excited about where we are right now. The university is blessed to continue to have the community support that helps make what we do possible. And we respond to the region's needs by doing that. And that's what really leads us to today's panel discussion, to explore that long-standing collaboration between USCB and the school districts from Beaufort and Jasper counties. There's a Tibetan proverb that states, "A child without education is like a bird without wings." Educators have a profound impact on the lives of their students, allowing them to test their wings. The influence teachers have may be rooted in the present, but can have far-reaching effects into their future. Sometimes what is seemingly inconsequential to the eyes of a teacher is an extraordinary gift when viewed from the eyes of a child. Great teaching is evident when you see it and feel it, but it can be hard to adequately describe it in words to those that aren't teachers, because it's so nuanced under the surface. But I'm going to try. I've had the privilege of working with teacher preparation programs for a number of years, and I see what it takes to educate future teachers in my role in higher education leadership. I'm not a teacher, I'm a nurse who became a teacher of future nurses. But I also happen to be the mom of a 5th grade teacher in Beaufort County School District, so I think I know a thing or two about incredible dedication that it takes to be a teacher. Just enough to be dangerous, mind you. Great teaching is about the time and effort that it takes to creatively teach lessons to large groups while ensuring individual learners' needs are met. Great teaching is rooted in the immense talent required to make complex information easily understandable. It's the endless thinking about how to make learning fun, best scaffold that learning, and promote critical thinking. Great teaching is evidenced by the persistence needed to try and try again when students struggle, and then celebrating their successes when they exceed everyone's expectations. And it's the worries beyond academics, the concern for their children's social and emotional needs. A well-educated child is one who feels safe, secure, and cared for so they can be at their best academically. A great teacher is one who does all of that and inspires students to become lifelong learners. That's our goal at USCB, for our graduates to become great teachers and give children the opportunity to develop their wings and soar. And that's what leads us to today's discussion. Our panelists will highlight the profound impact of the collaboration of USCB, our local schools, and the communities we serve, while sharing forward-thinking strategies to address educational challenges. And there are many. The panel can't cover them all today, but they're going to try. Today's panel will be facilitated by Dr. Beth Hammond, Associate Professor and Assessment and Early Childhood Education Program Coordinator, and the incoming chair to USCB's Department of Education. Beth's been at USCB for 11 years, and prior to that, taught for 25 years in PK-12 across multiple states. She teaches several undergraduate and graduate courses to students and colleagues alike, and as if that weren't enough, Dr. Hammond has also published and presented where much of her work has been in the field of literacy. Her current research is focused to improve 2 areas: teacher preparation, exploring the use of technology and how that influences teaching, and sibling relationships and the influence of siblings on children's growth and development. Following the panel discussion, you'll join us outside where we'll have artist Amiri Ferris creating a live action painting with audience interaction. So at this time, I welcome Dr. Hammond.
I think I got it. Can you hear me? Okay, good, fantastic. I am Beth Hammond, and I am the incoming chair of the Department of Education, and one of the things they asked me when I was interviewing for the position was, why do you want to do this? And I was thinking, yeah, I'm not sure I want to do this. I don't know if I want to do that. But the reason I want to continue with students here and as the incoming chair is for our students and the students they will teach. And the way that I ended up here at USCB has to do with teaching. I taught in some high poverty schools, and I realized that my students thought that or believed that school was happening to them. And I tried to figure out how can we make it so that they understand that they have some control over their thinking and their learning, and school is not just happening to them. And so I went back to school for my PhD in learning and thinking, learning and cognition from Florida State University, because I wanted to teach teachers. And it was about multiplicity. So if I teach 60 teachers and they teach 22 students each year, that's a really big deal. And I really wanted to make a difference and influence future generations. I came to USCB in the fall of 2015. I thought it was 10 years ago, but you're right, it's 11 years. It's 10 years and 9 months and 37 hours. So, on my way here, I drove a little sports car. Then it had a little window that had the temperature of the outside. And this was maybe March 2nd or 3rd, I came to interview. And about the Florida-Georgia line, because I was coming from Daytona Beach, my car starts flashing icy at me. And by the time I got here, it was 34 degrees. And the next day when I interviewed, we found someone in the hallway. I was introduced, and they said, well, I guess we can't impress you with our weather. And I said, no, I'm from the South for a reason. I like the weather now, but that's what happened. So I came to USCB because of their expertise. They were newly accredited by NCATE. Now we're accredited by CAPE, which is the external accrediting body for the state of South Carolina. When I researched USCB, they called me for an interview. I did some research on the school. I realized that it was very similar to the small private school that I attended back in the late 70s, early 80s. And I wanted to see more. When I came here, I realized that these students are getting a very high quality education from a public institution. And we've been able to provide support for our students. And now we're able to provide support through the Mastery Grant. So we even have one of our panelists here today who actually works with our early service teachers and providing them with some support. But I wanted to come here because I thought they are getting an excellent education at USCB, and I want to be part of it. And the rest is history. We have early childhood and elementary education programs. They were here when I came. The elementary program had not had any graduates yet, but it was newly established. We have a secondary biology, we have secondary mathematics, secondary English program, and in response to the request of the community and the teachers in the district, we've created, I hope to co-author, a Masters of Education program in literacy. Because everything begins with being literate. And we've had a couple of cohorts, and what we've realized is that our students who are teachers in the area have difficulty coming to the university at 4:30 in the afternoon and staying until 7:30 or whatever the scheduling happens to be, 2 nights a week for 2.5 years. And so we have recently moved the program to a fully online program. We will still be doing some synchronous working with our students because it is literacy and we feel the need to have that interaction with our students. But here is the video that, since it's just launching as a newly revamped program as an online format, here's a quick video. I'm Beth Hammond, Associate Professor of Education at the University of South Carolina, Beaufort, and I have some exciting news. USCB's Master of Education in Literacy is now 100% online. We launched the program in 2021, and after considering the feedback of our first 2 cohorts, we have moved the program to a fully virtual format. Remote learning is more convenient for busy teachers because who wants to rush to the university at the end of the school day? We carefully redesigned the program to be 30 credit hours, maintaining the quality and rigor, and including fieldwork that you conduct in your own classroom.
I began the program when my son was just over 2. I feel the work is really manageable, again, because it's so applicable, you're using it in your classroom. I feel that The program expectations in terms of coursework and activities was very realistic. The flexibility of using VoiceThread, using Zoom, it was very realistic, but very beneficial experience for active teachers.
I believe that getting a master's degree in literacy from USCB is an excellent choice. Professors care about you, they truly want you to succeed, and the benefits that I've gained, both being able to apply them in my classroom and then getting to know that group of individuals, has definitely opened a lot of doors, and I think that it is a well worth investment.
I'm Dr. Renata Tompkins, Associate Professor of Literacy in the Department of Education at USCB, and I assure you that our literacy program will provide you with many benefits. Expertise in literacy benefits teachers far beyond the pay raise that having an advanced degree brings, because there's not a single content area that's not related to literacy. USCB's program is a professional development opportunity designed for in-service teachers. You'll learn literacy education best practices and gain an in-depth understanding of how to plan literacy instruction for diverse learners of all ages. Please apply now, join our next cohort, and start working towards your master's degree in literacy.
We are very excited about the upcoming group of students, and the program is being advertised on International Literacy Association website at this time, and the opportunity now to reach across the nation to reach teachers and support them in literacy. So these are the reasons why I ended up here, and my perspective has been mostly from instruction and supporting our students as they become teachers, because teachers have a really tough job. And so the panelists we're going to talk with today have some different perspectives. They're all different areas they come from. And I know that through this we'll develop a better understanding of the perspectives of many on education in the region and USCB's influence in that area. So the first person I want to call up, I'm going to just introduce each person just briefly, and then I'll go back and tell you more about them later. So Mrs. Katia Chavez Herrera is the USCB Alumni Coaching Support Coordinator, and in this role she provides coaching support for early career teachers who teach in high-need schools in Beaufort County School District. Katia. And Mrs. Constance Goodwine Lewis is the newly appointed principal of St. Helena Elementary School. She's a native of the Gullah Sea Island in Beaufort, South Carolina, and she was named the 2023-24 Beaufort County School District Principal of the Year. Ms. Ashley Eichert is a graduate of our master's program, and she teaches at Bluffton Middle School. She teaches 8th grade English language arts, and she is also a parent of 2 students in our local school system. Dr. Frank Rodriguez, who is our superintendent of schools and also is the first Hispanic superintendent in the state of South Carolina and the South Carolina Superintendent of the Year for 2025. And Mrs. Althea Wigfall. This is her 5th year as principal of Royal Live Oaks Academy in Hardyville. She has educated students in Jasper County for over 18 years prior to becoming principal, and she actually is hosting some of our students this year. All right, so I'm going to tell you a little bit more about each person, and do they get, where's, do I hand them this microphone? Oh, there's one on the table. Okay, pass it this way, please, because
You may want to introduce both of them.
okay, they're okay.
Just saying.
Fine with me. I don't know how to turn it on. It is on. Oh, there we go. Well, there's one attached to me that's on too. Thank you. All right. So let me tell you a little bit more about Ms. Herrera. She was born in Costa Rica and moved to the United States with her husband and 2 children. She became a general education teacher and then a bilingual teacher, and she worked in Horry County in 2000. She taught multilingual students in Jasper County from 2008 to 2017, and then in Beaufort County from 2017 to 2022. And at that time, she became our alumni support coordinator for these particular early service teachers in our schools here. And throughout her career, she's taught elementary and middle school students primarily, and parents and other adults who are multilingual. Ms. Ferrer.
Hello everyone. It's my privilege to be here, of course, and it caught my attention, the title of this panel, because when you read it, you think about progression, you think about a timeline, right? It's something that has a future, has a past. And I remember when I came to the US in the year 2000 that I was one of the few, you could count them with one hand, the fingers of one hand, and you will have some left, of Hispanics in education. I went to conferences and it was rare to find more Hispanic, and nowadays I'm so glad to see more diversity in education. That's a blessing. And talking about blessings, we need to count them because sometimes they're right in front of us and we don't see them. For instance, I am originally from Costa Rica, and when my family and I moved to the Low Country, we felt like at home. And if you have seen pictures of Costa Rica, you know what I'm talking about. There's water, there's nature, there's forest, there's respect for life, for animals. And all of that made us feel really happy to live here. And that's something that sometimes we miss. Right? When we're on the road and we only see the cars in front of us. But yesterday there was a lady driving in front of me, and I noticed how on the bridge she kept her head looking toward the ocean, and I am like, oh no, I better watch this. But it's a temptation to just look around the canopy, etc. So that's one of our blessings. And green. Why did I think about green? If you are around my age, you remember how boards in classrooms used to be green, right? There's a reason for that. The reason is that our vision gets enhanced with the contrast between green and other colors around. Our visibility gets increased to examine what is presented on a green board. And that's what, making contrast is one of the high-level skills in Bloom's taxonomy. When we contrast, we learn more. And that's the reason that during my time, I'm going to be contrasting some settings, physical settings, and educational settings. So one of the things that we truly appreciate about South Carolina and the Low Country is having school buses, Because when I went to a conference recently, it was 2 years ago, and I met teachers from DC. And these teachers were very concerned about truancy and tardiness in their schools. And the reason for that is that children in DC are using public transportation such as the subway, the trains, the buses to get to school. And some children come from the other extreme of the city. It's not like it's a school neighborhood school, is that they have to travel long distances. And if you had to deal any time in your life with a pre-K child, you know that getting that child to wake up and get ready for school is a ritual, literally. You have to prepare them step by step if you don't want to leave home stressed and dangerous on the road. I was comparing with their situation in DC and our situation, and I realized that school buses are not available in all the USA. So we are really blessed to have them. Something else that I discovered when I came to the US for the first time, and I came luckily to South Carolina, is that South Carolina cares about having certified staff. That's important, that matters, and it's not recent. I'm talking about 25 years ago. When there is not enough teachers available in the area, when we are not producing enough teachers, the teachers have to come from somewhere, right? And there's districts bringing international teachers, but those teachers must be certified and very competent. It is really a race to get into this career in the US because there is a lot of talent participating and trying to get here. And that's one of the wonderful things about USCB, I can tell you firsthand, it was my experience to meet teachers from other universities, and I saw the difference because some of the teachers told me honestly, and it was a burden for them, that their university did not prepare them to work with multilingual learners. They said, I never thought during my career that I was going to come to a classroom where 12 of my students don't understand English. That's a shock, isn't it? But if we are prepared, and that's something USCB is investing on, having our teachers prepared to work with children who are learning a language. They're not learning life. They already came to school with 5 years of experience or more, you know, experience interacting with other people, seeing nature, seeing the world. What they need to do is be able to translate that knowledge into another language. And when we see things that way, we don't see children like a blank page of paper that needs to be fed with knowledge. We know they bring knowledge to the classroom. And in some instances, they have seen with their own eyes the amorphous butterfly that we only get to see on a book page in South Carolina. Are we using those resources? Those kids who bring here with the knowledge of seeing a wild animal in the forest or fishing in a lagoon. You know, things that I had the chance to learn from my students and with my students who did not necessarily speak Spanish. I had children coming from Micronesia. I had children coming from many places in the world who don't speak Spanish. I had a student from Russia in Beaufort County. And if you want to communicate, and if you are a teacher, you will find the ways to communicate. But you also need, of course, professional development. And that's something that our districts are investing on, preparing our teachers. And USCB has this extension, this job that I'm so happy to be part of providing coaching to our graduates for 2 years. After they graduate and they apply for a school, a high priority school, I can be there with them and their school coaches, working together to make these teachers feel comfortable, you know, interacting with our diverse population. So lesson number 1, South Carolina wants certified teachers, no matter what. Number 2, the second district where I worked in was Jasper County. And I want to tell you something I learned from Jasper County. They acted smarter than my previous district for this reason. Instead of hiring an intermediary company to bring the international teachers, they decided to hire an immigration lawyer directly. And once they knew the good teachers, they helped those teachers process their permanent residence in the United States through their work abilities and skills, and those teachers eventually became American citizens. Like, that's my case. And I'm thankful for that opportunity that I did not have in my previous district, as once you finish your contract, you must leave the country. But there was this this door that opened in the low country. So you see, sometimes you don't believe that those things can happen in districts that are as isolated and even classified as in the corridor of shame, but they were really working hard to improve the quality of their education. So lesson number 2, work smarter. And raise your hand if you have ever seen or heard from the corridor of shame video. Okay, perfect. I know if you have worked in Jasper County, you know about it. And if you care about education and improvement, you know about this video. I learned about it in Royal Live Oaks Academy in 2008 because the founders of Royal Live Oaks Academy were moved by this video to come to Jasper and say, hey, what can we do? We want to help. And they invested their personal money, their personal time, effort, everything to create the first charter school in Jasper County, our neighbor county. So something that was very important about this school is that 33% of the population was Caucasian, 33% was African American, 33% was Hispanic. It was an environment that nobody planned, it just happened, but it created the environment for students to learn to interact and value each other's culture. And when I worked for Real Oaks Academy, we did not have, I might remember just one fight. Kids really learned to like each other, and they learned to interact with each other. It was really a blessing having that environment and having a long school day where kids could be more exposed to academic content, and they were supervised for an adult most part of the day instead of going home and sometimes being home alone. So finally, after working for Jasper and Beaufort County and discovering that need that teachers had to be more aware of language learning needs, I decided to work for USCB. And at USCB, we are procuring for teachers to stay in their careers. I worked as a teacher for 33 years. My husband and I's anniversary was March 16, and we have been married for 34 years. And when we got married, I had worked already 1 full year in a school, so that means that I would have 35 years now of being a teacher, and I'm still enjoying spending time with kids and teaching them the language. So it's possible. You know, it's possible, and we have a lot of staff in Beaufort County. I remember specifically a principal in one of our meetings who is so excited about this profession that you can see how she's able to make that or to pass that feeling to her staff. So we can do it, and we are procuring at USCB to be for teachers in progress information, to be aware of the Low Country tapestry, to learn about the Gala culture, to learn about the language needs for multilingual learners. We are trying to create a fast track for bachelors of other careers to become teachers by attending the USCB for 1 more year, right? And we are recruiting high school graduates from schools in South Carolina and northern states to enroll in the career of education at USCB. Last beginning of the quarter, we experienced the highest recruitment ever in many years for students who enter USCB. All of that is very positive, but I come with one negative thing, which is this. Our multilingual learners, specifically dreamers, children who were brought to the U.S. as babies and they became high school graduates, they are attending, in some cases, the ACE school. ACE is an academic, it's a school where kids can get a short career in nursing or cosmetology or welding, etc. What's happening to our population, and it breaks my heart, is that once they graduate and they present their professional exam, South Carolina is not allowing them to exercise their career. They don't get that certificate they need to post on their business wall showing that they are certified. Even they could have been the best students, they could have passed their classes with ACE, but they will not get it in South Carolina. And so after all of these years, our students received that support that schools are providing for them, the multilingual learner instruction, the love that we give to our students. We embrace them and take care of them and their families, because through Title I, parents can also enjoy learning English as a second language, etc. Many other programs. They graduate from ACE, they go take their exam in Colombia, and they're not allowed to exercise the profession. And I have met some of them personally who went to, they went to school, they continued to study in the university, and they got their equipment, all of the uniform, and when they register, the person at the front office says, I must tell you that you are going to take the classes, and I have to tell you before you pay for these items, because once you finish your classes, we won't be able to give you your certificate. Okay, so that's how it was improved. Now we're going to tell them in advance, so it doesn't come by surprise that they won't get their certificate. And that happens to dreamers, children who were here before 4 years old and enjoyed all the privileges and all the blessings of our education system, and then we tell them, you cannot work, you cannot exercise what you studied. Doesn't make sense. Do we want to support them, or do we want them to be independent economically? All right, so not everything was the best situation. We did contrast and compare and contrast, and I just hope for our state to continue to increase all of the beautiful and wonderful things that have happened since 2000 to me that I have witnessed, and to, of course, the children in education. Thank you very much.
Miss Goodwine Lewis is the principal of St. Helena Elementary School. She's been a principal in the area for 16 years, and this is the end of her first year at St. Helena. She's one of the longest tenured principals in the district, which affords her the opportunity to expand the capacity of upcoming instructional leaders. She holds a bachelor's degree in elementary education, 2 master's degrees, 1 in special education and 1 in educational leadership. She maintains a laser-like focus on teaching and learning, and her mission is to foster a family-like atmosphere and establish a culture of teaching and learning that will result in an environment where children feel safe, loved, and are provided with a world-class educational experience, which kind of echoes some of the things that Dr. Dumas said. Her instructional leadership skills continually led to double-digit percentage increases when she was at Broad River Elementary School in ELA and math, and now she plans for the same for St. Helen Elementary. She's been appointed an ambassador for Educational Epiphany, a highly sought-after consulting publication company that works to build student achievement and school improvement in districts across the nation. Ms. Lewis.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Oh, y'all have to wake up. I've been up since 5 a.m. And I went to my school. I went to St. Helena Elementary this morning, and it's 30 minutes from my home. So if I'm awake, you have to be. My perspective on education in our region is that it's ever changing, it's evolving, it's creative and innovative. And I probably have a different perspective than everyone on the panel, and maybe possibly in the room. Because as Dr. Hammond shared, I am a native. I'm a Binya, as we say in the Gullah language. And so I've been a student in the Beaufort County Public Schools, went away to college, came back as an educator, and now a principal. So I'm celebrating my silver anniversary in education. How many years is that? 25. So as a student in Beaufort County, I went to Beaufort Elementary School. Some of you think you know where it is, and yeah, that's where it is now. But it used to be where the original USCB campus sits, which is now the Performing Arts Center, when I began. And all of our schools were alike, other than the building and the people within them. Now we have Leader in Me schools, Arts in the Basic Curriculum schools, STEM schools, right? How many of you knew that you could learn about aeronautics at Battery Creek High School? Right? Or you could become certified as a firefighter right down the street, right? At Hilton Head. So those opportunities did not exist when I was a student in the Beaufort County School District. We didn't have those opportunities. All of our high schools offered the exact same courses, same focus, and so that's the innovative and ever-changing part. As a student in the Beaufort County School District, I never had a female principal. All of my principals from elementary to high school were all men. Also, I saw those green chalkboards as a student in the Beaufort County School District, and I was one of the first teachers to get a whiteboard because I'm allergic to dust. So when I taught, they had to get me one of those whiteboards that everyone has now, in addition to our interactive whiteboards, right? Was not a thing when I first started teaching or as a student. I'm very proud to be a product of this school district, even though it didn't have all the offerings. It does now because it enabled me to have the journey that I've had. And I'm very excited about the journey I've had and the journey that I'm continuing. One of the things that I also believe about education is that it must be founded in love. I know that sounds very old-fashioned, and I'm only 16, so how could I be so old-fashioned? We invest in what we care about. So if we do not love education and we do not love the people, the individuals, because children are people, do y'all know that?
Yeah.
Sometimes we don't think of children as people. We just think of them as children. But they're humans. They're little people, right? That's what children are, little people who grow up, we hope, to become big people who have an impact and are inspiring in our communities. And so in order to foster that, we must first love them. And for me, love is an acronym. As a leader, it stands for leadership, opportunity, vision, and an expectation for excellence. Because what I am also is a Christian, so I'm not ashamed of that, and I don't mean to offend anyone. And the Bible tells us that where there is no vision, the people will what? Perish. So leadership, opportunity, vision, and an expectation for excellence. When that exists, students can, the last acronym for me, live off village energy. That spells love too. Who's the village? Anybody want to take a stab at that? All of us. We are the village. So if we love education, we value it, we believe in it, and we love the little people, aka the children, in our community, we will invest in them and ensure that they are loved and they are well educated. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And when you talk about children, it's interesting because I consider my adult students to be my kids. And it's interesting, our next person that we're going to talk about has been one of my kids and graduated with her master's in education and literacy a year ago from our program. Ms. Eichert she began her teaching career in Charlotte-Mecklenburg School District, and she worked as an academic coach and college admissions counselor before moving to Bluffton, and for the last 8 years she's been an educator here in the Beaufort County School District. She currently teaches 8th grade English language arts at Bluffton Middle School, and she also holds a degree in communications, so English language arts and communications go together quite well. She is also a parent, so she brings the perspective of first how our community is involved, how our university is involved, and then her role as a parent also gives us another perspective. Ms. Eichert?
All right, hello. I will tell you right up front, I can speak to a room and control 100 13-year-olds, but to talk to 50 adults is a little bit nerve-wracking for me. So I do teach 8th grade. I love the energy of middle school. I'm very tired every night, but it's wonderful. So I was asked to speak about the relevance that USCB has within our community of educators in Beaufort County. And the word that came to mind to me was to be intentional. And I really felt like the master's program was beyond intentional of meeting the teachers where we were. In the video that Dr. Hammond showed at the beginning of our talk, the woman who spoke talked about, how we're tired after the end of the school day and being able to go to class. And I think about friends who I have who've gone and gotten their masters at other schools online, and they've had to fit the mold of that school because the school, it might be out of Arizona or out of New York, and they don't understand the unique needs that we have with our students in Beaufort County School District. It's very unique. And contrast with that, Beaufort County teachers, when they go to get their master's at USCB, instead of asking the graduate students to change for the program, they changed the program for the graduate students, which was incredibly helpful for myself. I was part of the second cohort that went through USCB's master's program, and the first cohort was made up of all elementary teachers. And an elementary teacher has a very different way of approaching literacy than a secondary teacher. Well, my cohort was made up of all secondary teachers. And what was so encouraging was to have professors, Dr. Hammond and Dr. Tompkins, who saw that what we did in our middle and high school classrooms is not the same thing that you do as a kindergarten teacher or a second grade teacher. There's definitely some foundational similarities, but when it came to what we needed to do with our students, they were willing to change the program to meet our needs. And that was huge because so much of the program is research-based within our own classrooms. And so instead of kind of asking us to go outside of our classrooms and find an elementary school to partner with to work with those students, instead I was able to learn strategies for my 8th graders that I can use in my own class every day. And going along with that, we had a social studies teacher in our cohort, an AP English teacher in our cohort. Another student came from a science background, and each of us were able to address our specific needs. And so I just am very grateful to USCB for being so teacher friendly. They were also very flexible and with being a parent, and so that's the other kind of flip side that I can talk to you about. I have 2 sons, and we moved here when my youngest son was going into kindergarten. He's now an 8th grader, and I was trying to find a job real quick when we were moving here, and I was hired by Michael C. Riley Elementary School, and I went to visit it, and we had moved from Charlotte, big city, and Title I schools in Charlotte are not good schools. You don't ever send your child to a Title I school. And Michael C. Riley is a Title I school. And so the principal at the time, she invited my boys to attend school there. And my husband and I were concerned, but we said, we'll give it 1 year and we'll see what happens. Both of them went the whole way through. It was a blessing to them. And the reason why, and I can say they've gone through Bluffton Middle where I teach. My son is actually in my class this year. I've taught both of my boys, which has been a gift. And then my older son, truly it has been a gift. It's been something that I feel like not many people can say that they've done that. And it's really cool to see your child as a learner and not just someone who leaves their wet towel on the floor. And so my older son is at Bluffton High School. But the wonderful thing about schools in Beaufort County is the rich diversity. And I think you spoke to this, seeing these kids, and this is what got us with Michael C. Riley, and it's the same at Bluffton Middle, and it's the same at Bluffton High School, who come from such vast backgrounds. I mean, we're talking about very wealthy kids, kids who come who are multilingual learners, whose parents are brand new to the United States and don't speak English, and everything in between, and how they can all get along so well. I've never seen anything like it. It's really fascinating, and we have something at our school called Flex. It's like a recess time at 20 minutes where all the kids get to go outside. It's great, and I'm stationed to supervise the basketball area, and the kids, the boys every day who play basketball, it is a hodgepodge of every kid, and it's amazing. It's such a cool thing to see. And so when I think about, Beaufort County School District and education here, it is just so encouraging to see the way that the kids all just get along in this really special way. And as Dr. Hammond mentioned, I started my career in education. I taught in Charlotte-Mecklenburg School District. That didn't happen there. I grew up in a very small town in Pennsylvania. That didn't happen there. And so I just really feel like this is a very special place for kids to grow up. They have this beautiful environment. They have an amazing culture, and the schools are they're really fantastic, and they're special places. So that's my perspective as a graduate student of USCB and a teacher and a parent.
And I have to build on what she said a little bit, because one of the main goals that we have is meeting our students where they are and bringing them forward where they need to be. And one of the ways that we were able to meet the needs of the secondary teachers was to adjust the key assessments, because they weren't working with small groups of little children teaching phonics. And so we had to look at, so literacy is the application of reading, writing. And so we worked with them so that they could still recognize that there were students in their older student classrooms who still had some of the same extensive literacy needs that children who are younger have. And the fact that they got to be in middle school and high school, it's without having some support like that, it's just amazing that they're able to do that with their middle and high school students, so we don't lose another one. Dr. Rodriguez is the superintendent of the Beaufort County School District. Before he came here, he was in Florida for 26 years, and I was in Florida as well, so we had a discussion about that the other day. And actually, he was in South Florida, where my parents were born and raised. He has been recognized as one of the top 25 superintendents to be watched by the National School Public Relations Association for his communication efforts through community engagement. Under his guidance, Beaufort County School reached the highest college or career readiness scores at 82% and the highest graduation rate at 88%. Additionally, under his leadership, the district's 2023 budget was unanimously approved, and it raised the beginning teacher income to $50,066, making it at that time the highest paid first-year teacher district. He introduced free and reduced cost after-school childcare for staff and introduced mentoring programs for new teachers. He was inducted into the Citadel's Zucker Family School of Education Wall of Fame this year for his outstanding career lifetime contributions to education, and he has been named the Superintendent of the Year by the South Carolina Athletic Administrators Association. Dr. Rodriguez.
Thank you, and it's a pleasure to be here with you today and share a little bit about our school district and our relationship with USCB and certainly the importance of that relationship. But one of the things I'd like to tell you first is a little bit about what drives me to do my work every day. And for that, I tell you that my family came from Cuba in the late 1980s. And at that time, my grandfather had a really difficult choice to make, or decision to make, and that was to move his family from the only home they'd ever known to a brand new place, into a new country. And he did it because he wanted opportunities and freedoms for his children and for his grandchildren and for future generations, right? And so he made that move, and I was born years later in Miami, Florida, and I can always remember my grandfather telling me on a regular basis, and my brother as well, are you doing your part to get a good education? Are you focusing in school? Are you working hard in school? Make sure you do your part, because that is the one thing nobody can ever take away from you. And if you think about his experience, having to leave everything behind, everything, and start from scratch, he did so relying on his education, and went on to build a business in South Florida that sustained our family for many years down there until they sold it long after he retired. But the point being that it was his education that allowed him to start from scratch, to start over, because although he lost everything else, that was the one thing that wasn't taken away from him. And if he told us that once, he told us that a million times. Sometimes it felt like every day. And he pounded that into my brother and I on a regular basis. And so, as I went through school, you know, I tell everybody, because everybody always assumes you were an amazing straight A student because you're the superintendent of schools, right? Well, I can tell you I was a good student. I had to work really hard at being a good student, and I did. But I wasn't the valedictorian, but I married the valedictorian. So I did all right. But I'll tell you what I learned from my experience in my own personal journey in education, right, is that hard work really matters. Dedication to your schoolwork really matters. A supportive family matters. And a supportive community matters to an educational system. And so, you know, as I moved through different roles in the Palm Beach County School District, I learned a lot and took something from every one of those roles. But one of the most important lessons I learned, I served as an assistant principal in a school that was primarily students that had recently arrived from other countries, multilingual learners, right? And what I found through that experience was that depending upon which country students were coming from, they were better off because they had a stronger formal education system in their background than other students whose countries may not have had a stronger formal education system, right? And to her point earlier, right, those students are extremely bright. They're extremely smart. And one of the challenges in educating those students is that you have to continue their cognitive development, right, while they acquire language. And it takes 3 to 5 years to acquire language. But once they acquire language, look out, because they can fly. As long as you're continuing their development in their educational experience, their cognitive development in that educational experience, right? And so they are, here in the Beaufort County School District, multilingual students they're about 20% of the Beaufort County School District student enrollment. Our students, we serve 21,000 students here in Beaufort County. We're about 58.6% are students of poverty in your Beaufort County School District. Along that journey for the children, one of the critical components that I have found that is incredibly important in building and developing an educational system is that you have to focus on culture, systems, and instruction. Those are really critical tenets in a good educational system. Because culture in the system is critical. And by that I mean a culture of high performance, a culture of high expectations, right? A good culture that exists supports good systems, and good systems make it possible for teachers to deliver high-quality instruction for students. And when your culture falls apart, your systems fall apart. And when their systems fall apart, it becomes very difficult for teachers to deliver high-quality instruction for students. And so upon my arrival, I focused heavily on culture. And then I focused on building systems to carry that work out. And then I focused on the instructional component and the instructional part. And so it's something that I've learned over the years. It's something I believe is critical to good systems. And then you build programs to support that work. You know, career and technical education is an important program for us. You know, 20 years ago, everybody was talking about college, right? And today, you have to prepare students for college and or career. And so the school district hitting the highest college or career readiness scores is a great indication that we're doing great work for the students that we serve. And so college is something we want as an option for students. But 21st century skills to be successful in the workforce is an essential component that we want our graduates graduating with. And so that is something that we also focus through our career and technical education program. We have students that graduate from Beaufort County School District that attend universities across, top-tier universities across the country. We have students that want to be here locally and remain local. We have students, I mean, the desires and the needs are various, right? And so one of the key components for us is to provide a personalized educational experience or opportunity for the students that come through the Beaufort County School District, because there are lots of different wants and lots of different needs and desires. And today, choice is a critical part of the educational experience. And so we have lots of choices. You heard some talk about the various career technical ed programs. We have engineering, we have biomedical programming, partnerships with Beaufort Memorial Hospital, partnerships with USCB. We have various partnerships that are essential. The aeronautics program that we have partnerships in that industry, cybersecurity programming. South Carolina wants to plant its flag as the cybersecurity hub in the East Coast of the United States. And to that end, right, the educational partners and institutions align, right, in order to make sure that we're providing or getting ready to provide a workforce as they matriculate through our pipeline. So from the very elementary levels, we begin some elementary level exploration and programming around that. We move on to middle school, where you get a little more hands-on and STEM-related experiences and some cybersecurity experiences. And then in our high schools, there's this competition that the military puts on, for example, it's called Cyber Patriot. And here in Beaufort County, your school district has 30% of South Carolina's Cyber Patriot teams that compete among high school students in the state of South Carolina. So 30% of those are coming right from here, from Beaufort County. And there's an articulation agreement and handoff with our post-secondary universities to include USCB, so that there's a development of students. And so a lot of opportunities for continuous engagement and partnerships that exist between your school district here locally and then our post-secondary partners. And so I'm really proud of the relationship that we have with USCB, because it not only is about opportunities for our graduates, our high school graduates, to attend USCB and continue their post-secondary program, but it is also about the continuous development of our existing educators within the system, right? About their own development to continue to deliver high-quality instruction to the students that are in front of them. And so that partnership is very important to us in the Beaufort County School District, to the extent that we've solicited grants together, we've partnered for grant opportunities that involve the continued development of educators within our system. So I'll stop there because I can talk forever, but I would tell you that you know, I'm proud of the existing relationship that exists and look forward to greater opportunities to further those relationships and development, because they not only support our own Beaufort County School District infrastructure, but the truth is it supports our community in terms of graduates and opportunities that exist beyond that to serve our local community.
So as you see, we are all very much dedicated to our students, and for us, to our students' students. So Ms. Althea Wigfall, she's principal of Royal Live Oaks Academy, and she has seen teachers and students flourish under her leadership. She's a native of Jasper County and was raised in Hardyville. and she has many family members who are also educators. Before becoming an educator, she worked for the Hardyville Police Department and Department of Juvenile Justice, where she saw children who needed to be reached before they went down the wrong path. As a result, she decided to go into education. Ms. Woodfall has a bachelor's degree in science and a Bachelor of Science degree in sociology. She also has her teacher certification from Armstrong Atlantic State University, Master's in Educational Administration, and is currently a doctoral student at Grand Canyon University. She joined Royal Live Oaks in 2019 and has served in many capacities. She has also taught math at the high school level, worked with aftercare programs, and has been a math coach. She sees the progress being made to establish outstanding learning programs filled with rigor and student engagement, and she plans to build the level of teacher effectiveness and student engagement under her leadership. Ms. Woodfall.
Good morning, everyone. I'm a little bit loud and a little bit sassy, so sorry. Like she said, I am a Jasper County native, and we spoke about the corridor shade. I was actually a student in the school system when they were filming that and creating that documentary. So when you see the corridor shade, you see me. And one thing I definitely gathered from that is stop selling Jasper County short. I think that we have gone through a lot of transformations in the past few years, and everyone that came to Jasper did not necessarily have the students of Jasper at heart. And I take that very personally because I am a student of Jasper. I raised my 2 daughters in Jasper County, and I actually taught both of my daughters at some point because I'm elementary and middle school certified. I think I taught one of them twice. I'll need therapy for that. But given the correct opportunities, students from Jasper, just like students from anywhere else, can excel. Like my youngest, I cried for Saturday. I put on a plane to go to Japan to do study abroad. She's a student at USC campus in Columbia, and she's going to be there until August, pursuing her studies in media arts and anime and the stuff Mama knows nothing about. Jasper County has often been looked upon with that look of, ugh, you're from Jasper. Our students, however, are just as capable, just as smart as anyone else. They have often been dealt bad hands, and people want to swoop in to save them. And I'm saying, don't save them, educate them. Give them learning opportunities. Give them chances to grow because they are just as smart, just as capable as students from anywhere else. Don't water things down and say, oh, they're not ready for that, or they can't learn that yet. That's not the case. So giving students from Jasper the chance to grow and flourish is the best thing we can do. And us partnering with USC Beaufort, I have several practicum and observation students now with me at Royal Live Oaks, showing them that our students are capable and showing them that what good classroom instruction can produce. We are flourishing and growing. Like I said, I would love for you to come back and visit us because it has completely changed since you were there. We are no longer in what I call the trailer park. We actually have a beautiful building, and there is a sense of family like no other being there because we are K-12 in one building. We have an elementary wing, a middle school wing, and a high school wing. So to see that high school student come down to get their little brother or sister from the elementary wing at the end of the day, be like, how was he in class today? Did they complete their work? Did you do, you see that brother and sisterhood. They're looking out for each other. They're looking out for relatives. And people would think, oh, you got those little ones in the building with the big ones? They are the helicopter parent on campus, even coming through the cafeteria at lunch. Are you doing right today? Are you following instructions? So having that actually gives us a unique opportunity to see our students continually grow. Because my students that I've sent on to middle school, I can walk on that hall at any time like, you know better. You know, that's not the expectation, and I expect better from you, because they are there. And some of our teachers who have been there this year will be the first group of students that started in kindergarten that will be graduating, because this is the 12th year of the school, and this will be that first cohort that actually went all the way through. So because of that, Dr. Wicks is actually going to deliver the commencement address, because these are her babies, the first group. But definitely giving our students the opportunities to teach them, to grow, quality, no excuses, laying what needs to be laid on the table. When I started back in Jasper County, way back when, 60 to 70% of our students, back then it wasn't SC ready, what was it passed back then? Were meeting the expectation. So the scale has somehow flipped where 60 to 70% aren't meeting. And I was like, wait a minute, kids did not get dumber over time, so what we are giving the kids had to change over time. So reversing that and making sure that that rigor in the classroom, utilizing those state standards, meeting those students where they are, and using measures to grow them. Show them, this is where you are, these are my expectations, and this is where you need to go. Having students utilize their data to track their own growth, and letting them know, as someone said, that learning is active. Sitting in the room while someone is teaching is not going to make you learn. You're actually going to have to do something to learn. We have walked away, or not completely, because you always need some because of the world that we live in, but we are limiting in our elementary school the use of technology. Paper pencil have shown that that connection between that writing and that understanding and brain development is there. There are some things that will have to be done on the computer, but making them use paper and pencil and work out every problem. Making them write that rough draft with paper and pencil before they go to the computer and type it out. Those little things make big differences. And getting away from some of the, I guess we all about the same age, old school stuff that we did back in the day, in some ways have hurt our students, but taking them back those steps where they are literally picking up a book and reading a book versus scanning passage on a computer or an iPad. Teaching them how to use the highlighter to highlight those important parts, to find those main ideas. Those make big, huge difference in the learning. And those are some of the things that I have our USCB students observing in my classrooms when they come in, having them see teachers who are giving it their all. Teachers who are going that extra mile, who are not saying, oh baby, you're from Jasper County, you can't learn that. Those are saying, I don't care where you're from, you're going to get in here and learn what you were supposed to learn. You're going to meet that expectation. But doing it with love, doing it with fairness, doing it with consistency. And one thing I did invest in is my staff. I have almost, one teacher I think I lost last year because she had a new baby. She decided to go home and be a at-home, stay-at-home mom. But other than that, I usually I don't think I have anyone leaving this year because I invest in my teachers. I don't helicopter or micromanage because I'm a little bit too scatterbrained for that. But at the beginning of the year, I set my tone, I set my expectation, I give them the ground rules. I'm not going to hover over you, but whenever I see you, I need to see it. Whenever I lay eyes on you, I walk into your classroom. And it needs to be authentic. It does not need to be that, oh, the principal coming, let me go do this. No. Because I actually have a desk in my hall so I can hear the teaching. I can hear the learning. I can hear what's going on at all times, whether I'm directly in the classroom or not. When students can come at you, hey, look what I did on this. I made a such and such last time, but I studied, and now I have this. When they have that open conversation with you about their learning every day, we know it's real, and we know that it's authentic. And giving student teachers and practicum students and observers a chance to see what education in real time looks like and not what it looks like in a book. What so-and-so study says kids are supposed to know. Letting them see it in real time, real learning every day in the classroom. And I love this bond. This is our first semester actually having students here, and I am definitely looking forward to having more students from USCB join us at Royal Live Oaks.
Can you hear me now? Yes, it's working. So we have some interesting perspectives, and the key across all of us is that we are invested in the children and the students of this area at this region. And I will open it now if anyone has questions for our panelists. All or one, please go right ahead. Go ahead.
Actually, I have a couple. Dr. Rodriguez, you have a program between USCB and where the high school kids get dual credit. How is the success rate of that program? Because it's an impressive program based on what I'm reading.
Are you referring to the TIE program?
Yeah, the TIE program.
Yeah, so they come in ninth grade. This is the first year.
Oh, it is.
So we are in the very first year of it. First semester data on student results in the courses was excellent. It was very good. So they qualify to get in, right?
Yeah.
And then they're students at their home school, right? And then they just go take classes, right? But in the end, they can earn a 1 2-year degree or 2 2-year degrees along with a high school degree, right? And so, but they're Beaufort County School District students, right? And they take courses over there. So far, it's it's just another dual enrollment really program, but it sort of unifies the pathway with specific courses that align to the requirements that high school students need in order to graduate from high school, with elective other and additional opportunities that provide the potential for 2-year or 2-year. But it's really just, if you know, we had an early college program at Whale Branch Early College High School. It's similar in nature, except for they take their courses at the college. And there's opportunities for us to enhance those with USCB as well.
Okay, so is that TCL only then? I thought there was USCB support on that too.
We have USCB dual enrollment courses for students.
Oh, okay. All right. I just noted that dual enrollment, it's like, that's nice.
We have a lot of students that take dual enrollment courses through USCB. Now those typically start at the junior year.
And that program has been going on for a while?
Yes, the dual enrollment programs have been going on for I don't know when it started, but since Constance was in high school. So she dated herself, I didn't date her. But yes, and it's incredible. Dual enrollment programs are incredibly important.
I see it as a big challenge for the kids that are meeting that challenge and also keep upping.
Yes.
It's nice to get college credits.
Sure.
You don't have to pay for it. Just go put it out there.
Sure.
All right. Second question. With the charter school in Jasper County, I believe you've got a charter school within the Beaufort district. How are you guys? Do you interface and partnership with it? I mean, I see it as a way, charter schools can get in place a lot faster, I would think, than the district having to go through the whole process of building a new school.
Are you
So-
referring to Riverview Charter?
Yeah,
Riverview Charter?
yeah, and, well, and it's, I mean, I would think those kind of partnerships are,
I don't know if there's a connection between Riverview Charter and Live Oaks Charter at this juncture that I'm aware
no,
of.
I was just more thinking of within the districts, are you getting support, and are you feeling that that's a good program? Because I would think you can grow more seats for kids, because we're growing here really super fast.
We are, well, our school is not a part of the Jasper County School District. We are actually under the charter school of Erskine.
Oh, okay.
So our charter district is in Columbia. There are like 5 more, I believe, charter schools that are supposed to be popping up in Jasper County within the next few years or this year, which is crazy growth with charter schools. I know we play Riverview in athletics. Other than that, we don't, because we have to go everything through Erskine in Columbia.
So there are state charters, and then there are district charters. And so your
State charter.
Yeah, so they're a state charter program. District charters is a charter school that the district charters out, I guess, right? And so in our case, Riverview, if you go back historically, Riverview used to be where Shell Point Elementary used to be. And then that was at one juncture converted to Riverview Charter, but as a district charter. So it's a unique relationship because they have their own board, but they are approved and sanctioned by the Beaufort County School District. And so for many years, there wasn't much of a relationship between the Beaufort County School District and Riverview Charter. It sort of operated on its own and operated independently. Today, that's different. Today, the director at Riverview Charter, he attends our principal meetings. He connects. He has reached out for different levels of support. There are plan operation supports that the school district provides, and then there are technical support additionally that the school district provides. So that is a relationship that has grown and enhanced in the last, I'm going to say, 2 years probably, to where it was separate before.
Well, see now Jasper sounds like they're just moving with charter schools. Is the Beaufort district's going to do the same? It seems like if there's a relationship and everybody's working in the same.
Well, they're not all the same. They're not all the same, right? State charters have nothing to do with the school district. They have their own.
Yeah, where I come from.
Where they go.
Austin, Texas. It's a battle between charter schools
Sure.
and the district.
Sure.
I hate to see that. I would think that everybody's on the same page, kind of get kids educated and keep moving.
Yeah.
And so that's why I'm asking the
Well,
question.
the district charter in your Beaufort County School District, the district charter and the district are I can tell you, connected now, and there's a relationship that's there. But other state charters within the Beaufort County School District aren't necessarily connected because while we're all serving students, right, we all have different pathways of who we respond to, right? And so that's one of those challenges. There's not challenges, it's one of those things. And there are differences between what's allowed what legislation allows charter schools to do and what legislation allows your school district to do. So it can be as simple as, we're talking about certified teachers, right? Charter schools have the opportunity to have a certain number of teachers who are working on their certification but not quite certified just yet. We haven't been allowed to do that, right? You know, right, traditional public schools. So there's flexibility that's granted in some ways that isn't granted through legislation at the moment.
Now, can I ask about the office?
Well, we are out of time, but I want everyone to still have their time for questioning. Our guests will be moving out into the lobby. There's a reception. We have an artist presentation outside. Please ask your questions of us. We'll be milling about and available to answer your questions, and I thank you all for coming.